ever possible to get you back on that court at the Lakers?
Listen, man, Rob Pelinka is my guy. He's China's godfather, and he used to ask me all the time, just tease me, because he knows this is never going to happen. I'm really comfortable in what I'm doing. Like, I control my own schedule.
Yeah.
We create fun podcasts, animated series, a slew of new novels coming out next year.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of fun stuff happening. And I can control my own schedule. I can coach my daughter. I can be present at all of my eldest daughter's volleyball games. I drop them off in the morning. I pick them up in the afternoon. So, zero. I have no inclination and no desire to play basketball. Just none.
So now when you see Tiger or Serena or Tom Brady, you're like, that's good, I'm good.
No, what I think of is like, man, that's a great story. I wonder.
I'm with. So you're automatic. You go director mind now.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm at. I'm like, maybe we should talk about something.
Yeah,
we should talk about something. The basketball gene, I've completely and fully passed off to Gianna. She's got it.
Yeah.
That's all her now.
I know you got to go, but do you freak out at her games? Because I know that you're also coach.
Yeah, I coach. No, I don't freak out. I mean, she
when
works
you see
really,
her
really
playing
hard.
well.
Yeah, I mean, she's like, man, she works, man. I mean, they practice 2 hours a day, and she's like fully committed. Her and her teammates as well. I mean, really, really committed to playing. So I enjoy watching them play. It's fun because you get to see the growth. Like when they first started and not being able to like just dribble the ball and walk at the same time, to now like grasping really complicated concepts and just reading and reacting on their own. I mean, it's fun to watch them grow, man.
We had, say what? A whole lot of superstars on this stage here tonight. But I want y'all to know one thing. This is my house. And when I say who's
word attack skills and vocabulary too. Cover hits in the district edition is all brand new. You're through. I'm interplanetary like Doctor Who. So who?
Fuck your beef, no relief. I step on stage, girls scream like I'm Keith.
What is up, everybody? Ringtime Pro Wrestling is in the building. Keith and Keisha. Keisha, say hi to the people.
Hi, everybody. Hey. Hi. Okay, I'm good. All right, I'm good. What's up, people?
Crazy enough, we are here doing a show back to back. Like, hey, 2 weeks in a row. This might be it might be a trend. I don't know.
Yeah, this is nice. I like this. It feels good. Trust me, I've been missing it, and I have looked forward to today.
Oh man,
especially with this crazy ass weekend of wrestling.
Not again.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, I learned the game from William West.
Quite interesting to say the least, and I'm definitely ready to talk about it.
Yeah. So we are here. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna talk about a lot of things. I'm gonna open this show to not be remiss to not talk about the biggest story that's going on in the zeitgeist right now. What's the biggest thing going on in the world? And that is Sunday's passing of basketball legend Kobe Bryant. It created a little bit of a cloud over Royal Rumble. It created a cloud over the last couple of days. I think America is still processing losing a cultural icon and losing somebody who was interwoven into the fabric of how just everything. Like, so I've never been like the Kobe guy per se. You know what I mean? But I've always respected the game, and then I came to appreciate him more as I got older, right? Kobe is a guy that as you got older, there was something about that singleness and focus and that razor sharp thing to be the best and that hard work ethic that was just admirable, right? And then some of the things that he were frustrated with teammates and stuff he got a bad rap for early in his career. And I even was kind of like, hey man, you can't be like that. That's kind of jacked up. Man, as I got older, I kind of was like, no, I fully understand, right?
Right.
No, fully understand. Once you get to like real life and grown up world, and you go to a day job and y'all working on this project and y'all try to get this quarterly bonus and yada, and everybody ain't pulling their weight, you like, what the hell is wrong with you people? You know what I mean? I would tell you even one further.
Right.
I remember I used to I'd be at a meeting with the managers and stuff like that, and they be like, hey man, y'all part of the leadership group, yada yada yada, how we gonna motivate these guys so we can go and do the thing? And I'm like, why the hell we gotta motivate grown people?
Right.
Motivate? They paycheck is motivation. Everybody want to eat, don't they? Like, what the hell we motivate?
Last time I checked, everybody get paid in here. Like, what are you doing?
Why I gotta convince these people to do their job, man? Nah.
Right.
So
here's motivation: do your job or get fired. That's motivation right there. Like, ain't nobody got time for this foolishness now. Y'all tripping.
So there's an appreciation, right? Then watching it. So give a little context. I'm 40, right? Bryan was 41 when he passed Sunday. He graduated high school in 1996. I graduated in 98. It was very much like a peer kind of thing. And that was like that first generation of athletes that was like, they went from the guys that I watched from a kid looking at the adults, you know what I mean, to the guys that like, I knew people who knew them, right? Like, and especially because of the circles I traveled in, people I knew through various things in sports and playing sports at high level, yada, yada, yada. You meet people who know people, and you know what I mean? Fast forward, 2004, I actually meet Kobe through a job.
I didn't know that.
Through a job I had. So I did some things with sports travel and athletes that came into town when I was in Michigan. It's a thing. So, and I don't think I'm violating any NDA, but there was, so I met Kobe. I mean, I've met almost every celebrity of reputation. Except like Michael Jordan. I never met Prince. I never met Michael Jackson. But, you know, like on down, like Shaq, Jay-Z, and you know what I mean? It just happens, right? You gotta remember, I worked in the music business for like 2 years.
I remember.
Then I worked for a company that would high profile travel for athletes and entertainers and that kind of thing. So things like that happen, right?
Right.
Had a few funny incidences. I never met Donald Trump, but I spoke to him on the phone. And I will tell you, it was a very much asshole experience.
I'm sure it was.
In a 45-second conversation. You know what I mean?
I'm sure it was.
And then I sent somebody to go deal with him, and he came back to me like, man, don't you ever do that to me again. So, and I was like, I didn't do nothing to you. I mean, this is your job. You gotta go holler at him for that. You know what I mean? Like, it just...
All right.
I'm just pushing people where they need to be. Anyway. So, it's just this thing where I never... Like, it was one of those things like Sunday, I didn't know, like, why did this hit me with somebody that I didn't know, per se, right? Usually with celebrity death, I'm just kind of like, I kind of sit back and I'd be like, I mean, that's sad, I feel bad, you know what I mean? But it was like, I checked my phone, because I can tell you what I did. I came home from church, I sit down and eat something, you know, I heated up my food from Saturday. And I'm talking to Keisha in that way because I guess I have to give it to everybody. The whole family got together Saturday. We went out to a restaurant. Right. There's a funny story inside that, right? Which we'll get to later in the show, just because we're going to lighten the mood. And
no, we're not. We're not getting to that story.
That's a good mood.
We're just not.
I mean,
we gonna cancel that.
Everybody was safe. Everybody was safe afterward. I mean, Anyway, so we go. I watch The Good Place on Netflix because I tend to like to watch The Good Place. Which, I mean, it's one of my favorite shows. It might be my favorite active show right now. But I watch The Good Place, and I pick up my phone, I go down Facebook, and first thing I see is like a TMZ report that Corbin, and I'm like, this is bullshit, right? Y'all playing too much. You know, because it was just a picture that had like a TMZ headline. So I'm like, y'all out here playing too much. All y'all needs Jesus. And, you know, we're going to leave it at that. No, Keith, I mean, I kept scrolling. So first thing I do is I go to the television, right? I'm like, come off to Netflix, let's go to the TV. I turn the ESPN, the Pro Bowl on. So I'm like, cool. This wouldn't be on right now if Cody was like, cool. I go to CNN, and then I see it scroll at the bottom of the ticker. And I'm like, oh, shit. And I'm going to say this. I saw the worst of journalistic integrity happen at that time.
Yeah.
One, y'all don't have to, everybody don't have to be the first to rush to do something, right?
Right.
And I'm not going to make this a whole thing about railing at TMZ as much as I'm going to say that it's all of us. We all have to point at ourselves. And what I mean by that is this. TMZ exists because people fuck with it, right?
Right.
And people want that kind of access to that kind of information. So that's why they exist. So we got to be better and demand better as people. I'll say that. Because some people just go do what they go do. But I don't think that, I'm not letting TMZ off the hook either. Like, the rush to be first, the rush to have information out there sometimes is at the detriment of humanity, right? Yeah. So I hope to God his family didn't find out via social media and people posting things. Or, and I'll be directly or indirectly. Because let's say somebody sees it, so they call the family, and the family wonder why they're getting all these phone calls. Because he got a daughter that's 17 and his wife, and it's like, huh? Mind you, people are speculating that they have passed. Because the first thing, it was like Kobe Bryant at with 5 people, was one of 5 people, which wasn't accurate. But so then you start doing math like, oh shit, I hope it ain't his kids, right?
Right.
And then, like, you don't have no confirmation, then it just start going. Then somebody puts out that it was his kids. You know what I mean? All of them.
Right.
Like, I mean, this thing is, like I said, I think I saw the worst of journalism happen. But then later on in the day, we find out that Gigi was on there, his 13-year-old daughter, and that was just like, that took it to a whole other level of gut punch. Then it went from 5 to 9 people, and then you go with the families that was on the plane, and the coach that was on the plane, and it was like, that was a lot, man. That's all I can tell you. It was a lot to take in.
This was my problem with the whole thing. Was because no one waited until there was confirmation of the details before just throwing them out there.
No, I mean, I think, like I said, it was the worst of journalistic integrity.
Yeah, it was terrible because I don't want to read 6 different stories, about the same thing, because then I start not to believe it. It's like, this is already an unbelievable situation in the first place. But now y'all are throwing out 6 different things about whole story. One fact of the story is true. The rest of it is just speculation as to what happened. This one says 4 people. This one says 5 people. This one says 6. That one says, this one says 6. You don't know. They don't know who's there except one person. They don't know who was on the plane, who was on a helicopter or none of that stuff. And it's like, except him. That was the only person that was confirmed. And it's like, why would you? And then not only that, but no one stopped to think for a second, like, maybe his family doesn't know. You know, no one stopped to think for a second that the victims' families that might not know what's going on. Now, allegedly, they didn't know before TMZ posted the story. And I don't, like I said, allegedly, because I don't know how true that is or not, but...
Well, I'll say this. Nobody really had... Because the fire department and the people who responded did not have all the details, right? So
right. This is true.
What it was this. They knew the chopper went down. They know it was the one that was registered to Kobe Bryant, right? So
right.
that automatically puts him on the list. Everything else now is speculation until they can narrow down some things. So that's what happened. So I say I'd say this. We're going to miss Kobe Bryant. We are sad at the loss of all the people that were on the helicopter. We are saddened at the loss of the prospect of life for two 13-year-old girls that was on this.
Yeah.
Of families that have to deal with this tragedy. You know, fathers not coming home, wives not coming home, you know, mothers and fathers not coming home. Like, I've seen people post this, and this is so true. I think we don't understand or respect fully the blessing that it is to get up and leave out the house and come back home at the end of the day. Because you just assume that you're coming home, right?
Right.
Trust me, there's faith I have in things that don't even... I have implicit faith that I'm going to get where I'm going in a car that I have to start like 2 times to get it cracking. So I'm just saying that sometimes we don't respect the idea of the blessing that it is just to be whole, to see your family. You know, like, one thing about Saturday that was cathartic, despite any misgivings we have had about that moment, was that, hey, I was around all my folks, right?
Yeah.
If anything happened to anybody there at that moment, we had that moment Saturday, right?
This is true.
And I appreciate that. So, you know, it was just something. I got to see my favorite nephew, which I say that, and I realize I am on a podcast that goes out around the world. And I am gonna have to figure out a way around that now, because
if y'all don't know why I'm laughing,
because I mean, here's the thing. So in theory, my other nephews would assume maybe that the biological nephew is the favorite anyway, but I'm like, But here's the thing. For the most part, nobody listens, right? Like, the people who... I'm going to get, like, more downloads in Dubai than people who are related to me. So I think I'm okay.
Well, to be fair, on your side, he's your... Well, as of right now, he's your only nephew. Until the other one gets here.
Well,
and
no.
You have to...
No. The thing is that through marriage, I have like 5 nephews. So,
but see, that's why I said on your side.
Yeah. So
I wasn't talking about Nicole. I was talking about yours.
Yeah.
See, on your side.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, when I said it, I was like, ooh. Okay.
So I was like, don't start no shit.
Yeah. Because look, man.
Don't start no shit.
I'm trying to secure my future. Right? Because I've told you this before, and I've said this in front of everybody. Like, look, I think Lynn's going to work out. Lynn's going to make it. Right?
Okay.
But I may not. I may not like her husband, right? So I'm going to need some backup plans for a place to stay. Because here's the thing. I'm not going to the home. My plan for old age is to Keith ain't going to the home. Somebody else might end up in the home. Keith ain't going to the home. I am going to die in somebody's basement with some dignity. I not saying that dying in the home ain't no dignity. I'm just saying I'm not going to the home. Right? I plan to try to live alone as long as I can. My grandmother lived alone. She passed at 84. So I feel like I can stay by myself. And with the advances in modern technology, these self-driving cars should be good going by the time I'm like 70. So I don't have to really, because that's one thing too. They take your keys from you when you get old. You know what I mean? And I don't want to go to the home. I'm going to be ornery. Like, I'm going to be hard to deal with.
No. First of all, somebody needs to take your keys when you get old. Because let me tell you something. I was at Quick Trip the other day. And it took this lady like 5 damn minutes to back up from the pump and move 5 feet from it. I said, why the hell is it taking so damn long to get her ass from this pump to the street? What is she doing? Like, she was about to back into somebody, back into the pole, then was going to pull up back into the pump. I was like, somebody take her. Why don't she have somebody in the car with her?
Because her kids ain't shit. Like, this.
Like, I was like, what are we doing here?
This is what I've learned when I see that.
She drove extra slow out the parking lot. I said, see, I'll be goddamn. I got stuff to do. I ain't got time to be waiting on this lady.
Yeah. Well, there's two things, right? There's the idea that, like, some people, their kids ain't no good, right? Or, because I don't know that lady kids, there is the idea that, hey, that lady might have been a horrible person in her younger years, right? And that speaks to, like, me not wanting to go to the home. You see some old people who, they just get left somewhere because they family don't care about them and they don't come check on them. Like, so, like, you read the story about the lady who her husband died like 10 years ago and she had him in a freezer so she didn't let everybody know he died so she could keep getting his benefits, his VA benefits and stuff like that.
I said, what kind of shit is that?
That
you
is
gonna let him die to be in the freezer?
Because two things. One, she needed the money and the benefits to keep living, right? Two, her family and his family don't care shit about them. Because how did Pawpaw die 10 years ago and ain't nobody noticed and ain't nobody been by to check on nobody in 10 years? They don't find out till she die.
You mean to tell me for 10 years? Right. You mean to tell me for 10 years he was in that freezer and ain't nobody come by the house? Like, you know how kids is. They come by, they get all in your refrigerator, they be all in your cabinets and all that kind of shit. Because I used to do that in mom and daddy all the time.
Yeah. No, so I'm saying they don't, nobody's even come by to say, hey man, where Mr. Earl?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, he in the back sleep? No, nobody came by. Nobody checked. So, yeah.
Nobody knew this man was in the freezer for 10 years.
Those were horrible, because those was horrible people that nobody dealt with no more when they got older.
Yeah, you right.
They was like, I'm tired of bothering them. Like, we're going to put them in this home and we out. We going to move to Arizona.
That's why my plan, I got a plan in motion because I ain't having no kids, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take care, like, I'm living with Jessica now, and then I help with the kids, and then as they get older, I'll be the favorite auntie, the one to be around or whatever. Because when I get old, I'm staying with one of them. I don't have time for this. Like, I don't have time for this. If I'm not staying with their mama, I'm staying with one of them. Like, that's it. Like, once I get to the point where I know I can't do things by myself, they're gonna house me because I'm not staying in no home. Like, I'm not going to no home. Children, they ain't going to no home either. So we're just not doing that. We gonna work this out. I'd be like this one dude. It was an old dude. I read an article. Did you read the one about the old dude that decided he was going to stay in a Holiday Inn for the rest of his life?
No.
Let me tell you something. Yeah. So he said staying at a Holiday Inn was cheaper than staying in a home. So in a store, senior, as a senior assistant, whatever. So he stayed at a Holiday Inn until he died. He said it was cheaper. I said, say what? I don't know his name, but that room is occupied for the next 10, 15 years. That's all I'm saying. he said he gonna stay at a Holiday Inn until he dies. That's it.
I mean,
that nigga moved into a hotel.
I mean, if he locked in his rate, I mean, you're okay.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Because
that's it.
Yeah, because they won't raise it up on him. Like, look, man, I have prepaid for these nights. I don't care that it's 7 years later, right? And y'all rent, the rate that went to $140 a night. Look, I paid for $85 a night. That's what's been paid for. That's been paid for up front.
Right.
You deal with the manager about that. Y'all can move me down the hall for this week while y'all doing renovations, but I'll be back in my same room doing the upgrade.
Right.
Because y'all gonna upgrade my shit too. Well, it's time for upgrades. Like, please don't think you gonna skip my room.
Right.
We still upgrade.
Right. Y'all need to let me know what's going on so I can make arrangements. I'm
gonna tell you. I think I would like it for the first 3 weeks, and then I'd go crazy as hell. That would be the thing that set me over, because I'd be like, man, I am tired of eating this damn continental breakfast.
Let me tell you something.
If I come down here for one more donut,
no, I couldn't do it. You know what? When he said a Holiday Inn, I was like, why? My first thought, why didn't he move into an extended stay? Because at least with an extended stay, you have a full kitchen. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty much like living in an apartment. It's just a hotel. So I was.
That Holiday Inn probably was $99 a night. That extended stay might have been like $130. He might have to say, look, man, this will give you another 6 years. I don't know. I'm just giving you options. I don't know, because I don't even know what an extended stay costs. Right? I don't. So
all I know is
I'm the worst to tell the hotel prices.
All I know, but you know what? Okay, but bringing us back a little bit. I'm gonna rewind a little bit. So, the Kobe news broke me apart because I'm 32. And Kobe has existed in 2/3 of my life. Like, no bullshit. I followed him. I wasn't like the biggest Kobe fan, but I was a fan. And I can't think of one part of my life where I don't remember Kobe being in. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of it. Like, even the shows I watched when I was younger, of course, basketball, because I love sports, and just period. You know what I'm saying? So I paid attention when he retired, and I was like, damn, he dropped 60, like, shit, The thing that broke me up was the fact that he just retired. He won an Oscar. He had his academy going. He was you know what I'm saying? He just had a baby. Like, his youngest daughter is 7 months.
Yeah.
And the man was happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that genuine happiness that you can feel off somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, they can feel it from their soul. Like, he was that kind of happy.
Yeah.
He had his life aligned exactly how he wanted it when he retired. Like, he was going to still be involved with the game he loved. He was still, well, of course he was still going. He was still teaching. He was still out here, he was He had a family man. Like, he was doing everything he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And he was happy. And for all of that to just be gone like that, like, I was crying because it hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, it hurt.
Yeah, because, I mean, this was different, right? Which is, so, to bring us back full circle and get us back on track for the show, as wrestling fans, we know death, right?
Right.
It's an unfortunate occurrence. Then, if you are a wrestling fan from our era, you really know death. So, wrestling fans who were born in the 60s and watched it in the 60s and 70s, their favorite guys kind of got to live into old age. They were fine, right?
Right.
So even guys like Rocky Johnson, who just passed, he was 75. Harley Race was like in his 70s. You know what I mean? Nick Bockwinkel was almost 80 when he passed. You know what I mean? So it was different, right?
Right.
But our guys, like, the hardest thing to do as a wrestling fan is to watch old wrestling. I mean, old wrestling, like, not ancient wrestling, but like 1992.
Right.
Like, I watched, because leading up to Royal Rumble, I watched almost all the Royal Rumbles. I watched the 92 Rumble, and I was like, man, that guy dead. That dude dead. You know what I mean? Like, Davey Boy starts off the Rumble. I'm like, oh yeah, Davey passed. That's Kerry Von Erich. He not with us no more. That's Big Boss Man. He not with us no more. You know what I mean? Right. So I there's a thing about it. Like, you almost numb to it a little bit, right? And I can get into wrestling. The two hardest deaths that I dealt with as a person were Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. For vastly different reasons, of course, right? So with Eddie, it was that thing of promise, right? One, for people who dug Eddie, I think the year, 2 years up to his death, you felt like the rest of the world finally got how dope that dude was. Right. And it's like, yo, if you was a fan from like Japan, or you watched him in ECW and, you know, the early WCW days, it was like, yo, the rest of the world finally caught up, right?
Right.
And that time out that he had, and then when he came back, it was like, all right. Like, you felt like he was past the addictions and all that, and he was finally getting it together. But yet still, it was something that, like, still took his life. Chris, that was hard because he was my favorite wrestler. And there was a lot of range of emotions with Chris. So with Chris, when I heard about it, I was at work. It was my first day at racetrack, right?
Mm-hmm.
The guy comes in, like the guy who do like the delivery, because I was working overnight, because that's where I started. Guy come in to deliver like the donuts, was like, you hear that wrestler Chris Benoit was killed? Because it's 2007 and I don't got the internet on my phone yet. You know what I mean? It's kind of that kind of thing. And I'm not cruising it anyway because I'm at work. I'm like, huh? Get home, find out the info, and I just heard he was dead, right?
Right.
And there's nothing else. Then you find out that the whole family is dead and that it's a whole murder-suicide. Because you got to remember, nobody had the details. So Monday Night Raw airs, and it's a tribute show.
Right.
And then, like, Tuesday, we find out, like, oh, this is how information moved back then. We find out, like, oh, that's what happened.
Right.
And WWE made a hard stance that day because ECW, the TV show, was still on, right? Because this is during the ECW reboot time, and Vince came on like, hey, man, we didn't know what happened, and just understand, we'll never mention that dude's name again. And they've held to it.
Oh, no, they held to it strong. Like,
so prior to the WWE Network, there was a video section on the WWE website that you could go to and get like matches, and they have all these old school stuff. they had wiped him out. And they wiped out anything that had him in it. When the network came along, they put him back, but they made him invisible. So he's not searchable as somebody in the thing, right? So in WrestleMania 20, Triple H and Shawn Michaels, Triple H defends the world title against Shawn Michaels in a triple threat match.
Right. And you like, and it's funny because like, so somebody that's not a wrestling fan, they wouldn't really like think about it too much. They probably wouldn't even read it. But of course, it's the regular wrestling fan, even the would read it and be like, time out.
Yeah.
1, 2, wait. Like, you only got 2 names on here, but it says triple threat match.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, what is this?
Kurt Angle defends the WWE title at Royal Rumble 2003. Case closed.
It's like, who? What? but in all honesty, beforehand, you know, I think in the early days, I don't know if you remember this or not, but in the early days of the network, what they tried to do was, the descriptions was one thing, but when I was watching some of the videos, like, they would bleep out his name. Like, it wouldn't sound like a curse word being bleeped out or nothing.
Yeah.
But they couldn't cut the video. Excuse me. They couldn't cut the video because if they did, they was going to miss other parts that were critical to the actual scene. So they couldn't cut it, but they would bleep his name out.
Yeah.
And then, like, so you could see him wrestling, but every time the announcer said his name, it would bleep out. And I'm like,
yeah, I think they realized
because
that was too
see
difficult.
This person on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like it was too difficult to manage. So they just was like, they just let it run.
Yeah, so eventually they changed it to where it was unedited, and it just let it be. And then, because now when I go back and I watch old Raw, SmackDown episodes, you know, old pay-per-views with them on it, of course, all the commentary is there, all the footage is there. There's nothing edited, really, except for the original editing of it all. But the descriptions are still the same. So they're still not going to make them searchable, which was crazy to me because I have a WWE encyclopedia, and in the encyclopedia is a section for him. And that's something that I didn't understand. I said, you do all of that, but you put him in an encyclopedia? Like, they don't mention how he dies or what happens to his career. Yeah. They really list all his accolades and they list all his accolades and everything, but they don't mention what happens to his career or how he dies or any of that stuff.
What I would wonder
but he's in there.
When was it published? Because that matters.
This one that I had was published in 2013.
But also the thing is too, he's not advertised, right? So if you just happen to dig through it, I'll put it to you like this. Somebody who's buying a magazine, not a magazine, but an encyclopedia, they know who he is, right?
Right.
So you're not losing anything. You're not. They're already in on this, right? So it's not that big of a deal. I think where you get it is that they'll want to bring anybody new to the party, right? And they don't want the illusion that, hey, we are promoting this guy. You know what I mean? So that's all that is. But 40 minutes in, we have not talked about anything that is going on. So with that being said, I'm going to lead us into Worlds Collide, right?
Okay. So let's do this.
Somebody told Triple H, hey man, we're not going to do TakeOver this year, right?
Right.
My man said, cool. I don't need to do TakeOver. How about I do Worlds Collide, which is not a new thing because he's done Worlds Collide before, right? Worlds Collide, I don't think it was ever a live show. Like, it was things that was taped over the WrestleMania weekend and they would just run it like that, right?
Right.
All right, cool. Basically what they did, it was NXT UK versus NXT US, right?
Right.
That was good as any takeover I've ever seen, right? And it showed, hey, we got depth on all of it, right?
Right.
And here's the thing with NXT. The characters have stayed around longer. So I think people have become more even invested in them than they were before. I was just watching the takeover from 2017, and there was the Undisputed Era in the main event. This is before Roddy joined, but they was facing AOP and Roddy and Sanity, right?
Right.
AOP and Sandy all had ended up at the main roster by now, but like, this is 3 years ago. But those guys are still making it happen at NXT. So I think you are bonding with the characters even more than what you used to. Because it used to be like a year, like, oh, they out of here, right?
Right.
How long Walter been around? Like 2 years? Like, I mean, like, you're starting to get a little bit more bond with the characters at that level, right? I watched Cole kind of come up the ladder at NXT. He's not a mid-card guy, but, he won the North American title. Then he becomes world champ. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then he holds that down for a while. So, yeah, I think you just... So it works out. They had matches like Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm. This is a trilogy. Like, this is a hell of a story, right? Like, we're coming from, like, the Mania Classic. We're coming with the NXT UK Women's title. You know what I mean? All the way up to now, we're like, hey, just the NXT title is on the line. So, it's a lot of stories. So, and it was good wrestling. And they didn't shy away from the things that you wanted to see. So, that all being said, Finn Balor versus, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right, IIja Dragunov.
Yeah, I didn't even try it. I didn't even try it.
Long story short, Finn won. Right. And that was just what had to happen. Right? Mm-hmm. Decent match. Not too much to go into. Jordan Devlin won the Cruiserweight title, beating Swerve, Scott, Angel Garza, and Travis Banks. I didn't call that one. Right?
Yeah, nah.
Now, to be fair, I don't watch that much 205 Live. Right?
Right.
I do not, like, the funny thing is, I'm like, oh, that still come on. Because, I go through my network or I'm watching some stuff on Hulu or something. I'm like, oh, they still got 205 Live?
You're terrible.
Keish, it's too much programming. Something got to get missed, right? Like, some stuff just gonna make the conscious effort of not getting picked up, right? Like, I can't tell you the last time, like, I watched New Japan, I watched Wrestle Kingdom, and then I watched some of the show the next night. But that was it, man. I hadn't even opened up that app since then. That's damn near a month ago now, right? How many times have I tuned into the Access show for Impact Wrestling? Comes on every Tuesday. I didn't watch it tonight.
Right.
NWA Power, because it's on YouTube, is cool because I can kind of just kick. Like, I like YouTube, but I sit on YouTube at work. So after watching, old interviews of comedians on Tom Joyner, my YouTube habits, man. Whew, we can have a whole show about that later.
Hey! I just sat here and watched 2.5 hours of a Mortal Kombat 11 tournament. So,
yeah, no. So I watch NWA Power,
all day.
and I'm like, wow. Because when I watch that, I'll be like, this shit good, right?
Right.
And why they hiring people, man? Billy Corgan, if you listen, man, I'm available, man. I don't cost that much.
Oh my God.
I don't. Like, I literally don't cost that much. And depending on how you need me, you know, I might be able to keep my day job, right?
Right.
And that's the thing. He wouldn't have to pay an exorbitant amount of money. He'd just have to beat out my day job. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, hey, man, you can use me in multiple positions. Like, I think I'd be all right on creative. And somewhere on the production staff. Cool, right? I think we can make it work out. So, we put my bid in to work for the NWA. But yeah, man, that's it. Then Wednesday, you know, I try to do as much as I can with the double duty. I've downloaded some apps to kind of make it a little bit more efficient. They tend to stream better off like the network apps or whatever. So I can stream it off TNT for AEW, and it seems to work better than my other things I was using to stream, and then using my television for NXT or vice versa. Just really depends on what's going on that week, right?
Yeah, true.
I've left Thursday kind of like as a recovery day. Also, I like other shit besides wrestling, so it's kind of like, you know, just trying to fit it all in. 205 Live, man, I might not see you. Hell, NXT UK, a lot of times I watch before a pay-per-view. Like, I'm like, oh, they got a takeover coming? Cool, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch the last 3 episodes prior to this takeover. Because, I can knock that out in a Saturday afternoon. All right, cool, I'm all caught up. 3 hours, I'm all caught up. So, when I get on here, I know what I'm talking about, right? But that's pretty much it. Like, it's hard to keep up. There's a lot of wrestling going on, which is great. Like, I don't want anybody to think that I do not appreciate the fact that wrestling has had a renaissance and that you can watch as much as you want. You know what I mean? And I think there's something for everybody. I'm going to move away from criticizing some of it because it's kind of like, hey, man, if that's what you dig, cool. Let you have a home.
Right.
Right? Like, I like it. So, there's a lot of parallels to stand-up comedy in pro wrestling. Like, you have to start the exact same way. You know, you go to the open mic or you go to the first thing and you don't get paid and you work your way up till, you know, next day you know you're at the big time. Right?
Right.
One thing with stand-up comedy, man, there's the type of comedian for everybody. You might not rock with this guy, but hey, man, that style of humor fits a particular kind of thing, and they have a particular audience, and they rock with it, they love it, and they enjoy it. If that ain't your style, you ain't got to go to that one, right? That guy cussed too much, you go watch the Jeff Foxworthy show. Go watch the Sinbad show. That person talks about sex too much. Well, go watch, you know, somebody else's show. Watch Seinfeld. Or, hey, man, you want some dirty. You know what I mean? You want to hear somebody say some MFers and all that stuff. So you go watch the Cat Williams show. I don't know. So, but my point is there's something for everybody, right?
Right.
The nerdy person has their comedy. The ultra stuffy person even has a little bit of comedy. So, like, there's something for everybody. So, wrestling, I think, has turned into that thing, too. So, like, Jim Cornette might make fun of the invisible hand grenade. You know what I mean? Hey, man. Mm-hmm. If that's what you dig, that's what you dig. All right?
Right.
I've learned, like, now, just recently, I'm going to leave it alone. Like, so even the things I don't dig, I'm not going to shoot it down. If you rock with it, rock with it. So, that all being said, Jordan Delvin, new Cruiserweight champion. DIY defeats Moustache Mountain in a match that did not disappoint.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
tag team wrestling is an art, right? And it has a lot of components. I appreciate really good teamwork from people who have spent time being a tag team, right? DIY,
Right.
for their success as individuals, still show good, crisp work as a tag team, right? Moustache Mountain also are two individuals who have been known to be good teams, right? And they put it all together. So some tag teams are just really good teams. Some tag teams are a collection of individuals, and the team thing don't always jive, right? When you got good individuals that happen to be good in the team concept, you get magic, right?
True.
Those guys, because Chocolate was the only guy who's kind of bigger than everybody else, but for the most part, they all still in the same size range, and I think it worked for everybody, right? So the pace definitely really fell off, which is amazing, right? Because
Right.
everybody in that match could go, and they knew that, and they took advantage of it. Like, they went out there and said, "Hey, we're gonna steal the show," right? And up to that point, they did. They had a good show, so I appreciate it. Rhea Ripley defeats Toni Storm. Retains the NXT Women's title, which I kind of figured.
As
right?
I figured she would. Yeah.
Here's the thing. They were going to take the belt off of Ripley after she just got it, right?
Right.
Also, I think if Storm is going to be a fixture on the U.S. side of the roster for a while, then she'll get another shot, right? But she can't just get it on day one. So they start to use her on the U.S. side, and I'm kind of interested to see, is she going to spend more time in the UK or more time in the US? Because right now, the UK is, Kaylee Ray is carrying the torch over there. And it just may be time for other women on that UK roster to see more airtime and to see more main event storylines. So Toni might be over here more, right? And I don't know what her aspirations are, right? So some people's aspirations, I think, are to eventually get over here and then be able to main roster here, right? But then I think some of the performers dig what they do over there. Like, they just want to be big time over there, right? Like, they want to be like most of them were indie promotions over there anyway, so this is like prime time for them, right? So, and they can make some money and they can increase their booking rate if they want to go back to the indies, after it's over or whatever. But some people are content being stars where they are, right? Like, you gotta remember, we talking about whole countries here, right? So it ain't like they was over there, and not just whole countries, but whole first world countries. So it's not like, they stars over like Patchahatchee, Wyoming. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, I mean, like, you a star in London. Like, that's a big deal. And with that, the Imperium, right? Like, I don't know what Walter wants to do. But, hell, one thing I learned from watching that match Saturday, he can do whatever the hell he want to do.
Right.
So, the Imperium defeated Undisputed Era in the 8-man tag, where the Imperium got broken down to 3 men and found a way to win it with just 3 of their guys, right? Now, they did have an implicit size advantage, but still, that ain't never really stopped the Undisputed Era. But, hey man, showed a lot, learned a lot from watching the Imperium. And I'm going to tell you, Walter is a first-class step in hype in wrestling, right? So remember when Pete Dunne, won his match at the first UK takeover? And at the end of it, the Walter music plays and he comes down the aisle and the crowd goes nuts, right? Now, I don't pretend to be an expert on the indie scene in the UK. There's some guys I get to notice sometimes just from watching other people and learn about other things, and maybe guys participating in New Japan, yada, 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 right? I had never heard of Walter before then, right? Never seen him before in life. When I tell you I was hyped as hell when he came down that aisle, because Keisha, the way they introduced him, I don't know who he is, but I know this is a big deal.
Right. True.
And sometimes I think wrestling misses that, right? How do you sell something? How do you get something over in the eyes of fans? I don't care what the state of the business is, and everybody know kayfabe, yada, yada, yada. People just want to believe in something. Don't make the thing holy so they can't believe. Right?
Right.
That right there, I'm like, that dude looked dangerous, and Pete Dunne kind of sold it a little bit, but then after that, Pete, he ready to face off, and I'm like, well, this is going to be good. Never seen the dude work. I don't know what this dude work looked like. I was just like, yep, I'm in.
Right.
And I like that he's a big guy, but he just like regular big, right? And what I mean by that, like, it's the kind of big where like he ain't jacked up or, you know, ultra steroid or nothing like that. But he ain't like so flabby, so it's kind of like, you know, like, oh, that boy probably strong, right?
Right.
I don't know where they do it in the UK. Because, like, okay, when I see Keith Lee, you know what I think? I think country strong, right?
Yeah, true.
I don't know the man or anything, and I don't even know where he's from. But when I see him, I think Tylertown, Mississippi strong. You know what I mean?
Right.
The country. And that boy grew up in the country. And, you know what I mean? He ate that good
cornbread
stuff.
Fed.
Yeah, cornbread fed. He ate that good stuff every week. And he might have went out to a field a couple of times. You know what I mean?
Right.
He helped his daddy load stuff on the truck. Like that kind of country. Right? So, that's what I got. But Walter, I'm like, all right, I'll rock with that dude. And he hasn't disappointed. They gave him a clique. That clique was a dominant heel faction over there. They faced a dominant heel faction over here. They got some payback because, you know, they were attacked at their own takeover or whatever. So, it was easy to rock with. All in all, a very good show. Now, with that being said, we are an hour in, so we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and talk Royal Rumble, right?
Right.
And then that's it. Oh, the wrestling news. Sorry. We're going to do the Rumble, then we'll do wrestling news. I might do birthdays. I don't know.
Well, I think we could skip birthdays for a week.
Hey, man, we done skipped it for like 3 months, but that's sad. Besides the point.
You know I'm terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. But, yeah, we'll be back in a minute.
You know something, Sergeant Slaughter, General Adnan, and Colonel Mustafa? Ever since WrestleMania, when I won the first battle with all my little Hulksters, I knew it was just the beginning of the war. And then when you burnt my flesh, the smell was just like napalm in my mind. I heard you laugh. I heard you get off on it, brother. And ever since then, I've had nightmares that I was going to have to fight the troops of yours all by myself. And then that senile Jack Tunney put this thing together with the Warrior as a blood brother and the Warriors and the Hulkamaniacs united as one. Now I realized I had a chance to win the war. And then all of a sudden, The special referee, Sid Justice, just put the icing on the cake. It's even Steven, 50-50. But with all the Warriors and Hulkamaniacs, you guys are in a lot of trouble. How about it, Ultimate One? With the special referee, like Sid Justice. Granted, it's going to be called down the middle, 50-50. But in no way, shape, or form are we at a handicap. The power of the Ultimate Warrior and the forces of Hulkamania, and I have seen it. Great strides before come together at SummerSlam. The tanks that we ride in are made of the armor of Hulkamaniacs and warriors of great strengths after we destroy you with an improper burial. What you gonna do when Hulkamania and the Ultimate Warrior run over you?
You know, sometimes with those Warrior Hogan promos or even like the Hogan Savage promos, I'm not sure if everybody was on cocaine, but confident somebody was, right? And with particular Hogan, like Warrior, I just think is batshit crazy. I don't know if there was always drugs involved with Warrior. Steroids, yes, but I don't know. And I don't know what steroids do to everybody. Because, like, you know, and now, because that's one of those things that, like, we talked about guys from certain eras passing away. Man, a lot of roids going on, right?
Right.
A lot of roids. Guys just want to be jacked up. But, yeah, no, not 100% sure that the cocaine wasn't involved in that. But let's get to Royal Rumble, Keish. The show opens up with Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin in their Falls Count Anywhere match. I almost said that. You know the funny thing is, you ever see how a match is set up and you start thinking that it's another match, and in your mind you keep making it another match that it's not?
Yeah, I do that all the time. Do
you know I had almost wrote down Last Man Standing match like 6 times or doing notes? It was Falls Count Anywhere. But I keep wanting it to be a Last Man Standing match. Two completely different matches. I mean, the only thing in common is that they kind of go outside the ring. But, no, I was like, Last Man Standing. Yeah, that's what we got. So, no. Solid match. There was interference because, you know, Corbin had his boys, Ziggler, Rude, show up. Roman had backup with the Usos. So, gotta love your bloodline showed up for you. And I don't think this is over. By any stretch. Like, you would think, like, oh, we're going to have Falls Count Anywhere. We're gonna get this over with, right? Because I think their series was tied 2-2, and this was going to be the final one. But, hey, man, I think they still got something going. Because I think, one, they're probably going to be in a thing that faces off to see who is probably going to face, like, Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, like I would think. Or whoever Universal Champion is, because Bray might not be the Universal Champion, right?
And this is true.
Right. And they might
not be. I don't see why he wouldn't be, though. You know, I don't see why they would make him anything else at this point. I don't know or trust them to do things a certain way. So it's just like if Bray keeps the belt, more than likely it won't be Corbin who faces him, right? And because they want to do a heel face thing or whatever, I think the interesting story would be Corbin, though. You know what I mean? Because Bray would do his scary thing. Corbin's a kind of a chicken shit. You know what I mean? Right. How do you make it all work? And I think you got an interesting thing. Hey, Bray Wyatt versus Brock Lesnar, I feel like could work, right?
it at least would provide intrigue. So, and then maybe you could have it, you can sell it that, hey man, for the first time, Brock might actually be scared. Like, this is a force he ain't dealing with. He could deal with one-on-one brute force, but like dealing with something a little left field, that ain't his lane. Like, anyway, that's what it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Roman Reigns defeats King Corbin. Then we follow with the Women's Royal Rumble, right?
All right.
Match opens up. Who's number one? Bianca Belair opens up with. Who's the other person that rolls with her? Because Alexa Bliss. And they both ride it for a while. And while I'm here, let me shout out our girl Bianca Belair.
I'm on my own, against the wall. The pressure's building, but no, I will never fall. Instead of crying, they hear me roar. And now I see that I'm way better than before. I never needed you at all. Think I fall down? I'ma watch you fall down. I'm living large now. I never needed you at all. Think I fall down? I'ma watch you fall down. I'm living large now. I never needed you at all. I never needed you at all.
Yes, Bianca Belair was the star of the early Royal Rumble, right? And she got over like 8 eliminations. I was like, what? And when she was tossing them, I'm like, yo, this is going to be a good showing. I didn't like when she got tossed, but I was like, all right, 33 minutes was a hell of a showing. And I'd rather that than her with 54 minutes and got to the final 3 and then got tossed out. You know, some Sasha Banks kind of thing. Because remember, Sasha Banks is in the first ever Women's Royal Rumble, and she does like 54 minutes. You know what I mean? But, yeah, Bianca Belair, man, crushed it. Appreciate it. For the culture. Also, outstanding person who got over in that Royal Rumble, number 30, Shayna Baszler.
Right.
Does she come to the main roster after this? Like, does she join Raw or SmackDown after that performance? Because I can see her coming and challenging for the opposite title, right? So,
right.
Whoever Charlotte, okay, count the bag. Charlotte Flair wins the Women's Royal Rumble. She was on the list as potential winners. I don't know who or what or how this all would work out, but let's say Charlotte challenges Bayley. I could put Shayna Baszler against Becky Lynch. If Charlotte challenges Becky Lynch, I could put Shayna versus Bayley. And after Survivor Series, there's legitimate heat between all parties involved, right? Shayna won that match. Becky attacked her after. You know what I mean? So there's things. Shayna was terrorizing Bayley, leading up to Survivor Series. So there's all these things that already kind of are in place. So we'll see what's going on. I think Bianca, what they're going to do with her, she's probably going to challenge at NXT. And she'll push for that NXT women's title. And hopefully get a run with it in a couple of months. And then go from there. So, see how all that'll work out. What was your impressions of the Women's Rumble, Keish?
I don't know. I guess I want to say I wasn't really excited. To say the least, it was okay though. For the most part, not really as good as I thought it could be, but it was pretty decent.
Yeah,
I was, but and honestly, I don't know. I guess for me, I was just kind of like, all right, let's get this let's get this started so we get this over with.
Yeah.
But I am happy with the result.
All right.
Now that I will say, I am thoroughly happy with the result. So
no Nia Jax, no Sasha Banks. We'll get into that later. Did you have a problem with Santina?
who in the hell? That's what I was like. Who is Santina? Like, what are we doing here? I said, see, y'all know y'all play too much. Like, it's just y'all know y'all play too much.
Yeah, I didn't go to the outrage people had. I thought, yes, you could have used another woman in that spot that was on the roster, but what were you going to do with it? Like, was she just going to get thrown out, or was you going to use her to, like, get over a little bit? You know what I mean?
Right.
Also,
right.
Shout out to Beth Phoenix, who was a warrior and lasted a very long time in that match and got busted open.
Phoenix was dope. Yeah, Beth Phoenix was dope.
She was bleeding out of her head, like legitimately busted open, and her hair had went like she just dyed it red for that night. You know what I mean?
Right.
And went on and kept performing. Like, that's a soldier. Like, whew.
Right. Agreed.
Like, I think she comes back in like little spurts like this, and I think it's awesome, right? She does her time. She does a match here, a match here. And like, she doesn't even like try to do a run. She does commentary at NXT, but then she just does, a match here and there, something she want to do, and chill out. Do you know when she retired, she became a registered nurse?
Yes, I do. I did know that.
Like, how
and I was
hard
very
that
happy
is?
for her.
Like, I don't think people understand, and maybe because I took some nursing classes. Shit's hard. Like, it ain't.
Yeah.
It's helpful that she retired, right? Like, I think that's one of those things. Is like, oh, she didn't have to go to a day job no more. You know what I mean? And she could just study, because a lot of people I know who end up in her, they just have to figure out how to like make it on lows and stuff, because they don't really have time to try to work and study that stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, shout out to Beth Phoenix. The next match, this was interesting. They went with Bayley versus Lacey Evans for the SmackDown Women's title. Like, usually I would think they would kind of like throw a, and I guess they just didn't have a match to throw in there. But it still worked out. Bayley defeats Lacey Evans. I'm going to tell you how crazy fans are. There was a bunch of fans that was hoping that Lacey's kid would turn on her.
Like, why would you want that?
Well, here's the thing.
See that?
I don't think it's a bad idea. I just think it's funny, right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Unrealistic? Yeah, man. A 7-year-old ain't turning on their mama. Now,
right.
15?
Exactly.
15, man. I don't know, Keish. 13. Some of the things I see between Lynn and Nicole, I'll be like, oh, I can see somebody doing a heel turn here.
All right.
Things get kind of contentious when hormones and stuff get involved. I don't know.
Yeah. You never really know exactly what to make of it. You just kind of go along with the flow, so. Yeah,
and I don't think Lacey is totally done from the title picture, right? Because they are invested in her being like a babyface now. Like, they went from like, all right, the lady thing, the Southern Belle, and worked as a heel. But I think what happened was she got respect in her feuds, with Natalya and stuff like that, and stuff she did on Raw. And I think somebody saw it and was like, the fans starting to dig her. So let's see if we can make her a babyface and see if that push works, right? Because on SmackDown, I think they felt like the heels were solidified. So, like, the idea of, like, okay, we'll use Lacey as a babyface. Because Sasha and Bayley kind of soak up a lot of that heel space, right? Lacey, because her military background as a Marine, you know what I mean? And when they went through her background, like she was a corporal at a young age, she was a part of some special response team or whatever, which when people tell me stuff about folks in the military like that, my mind immediately go to like, oh, so she could kill me with like no real hesitation.
I thought I was the only one that was like that. I did. I really thought I was the only one like that.
Like the only thing I got from that was like, oh, so like if something happened and I was just like walking down the street, she didn't like what she saw, she could take me out in like a second.
Right.
Lights out. Game over. Because my fat ass ain't got no kind of training. So, like, I know she knows some kind of complicated chokehold. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, she wouldn't know one of the pressure points where she come up behind you and whack you in the back of the neck and you just going down.
Exactly.
Just you know, leave that alone. But yeah, man. Lacey Evans. So she has that. She's a mother. She working out there, grinding, making the bread, and I think that's gonna bond with people, right? And I think even using this angle with her daughter, I think people dug it, and I think she could be alive for a title push. Now, what happens when she gets the belt? I don't know. See, one thing about pushing somebody to a title or whatever, what happens when they get the belt? Are they interested with the belt? Like, one of the fatal flaws of Sting's career was Sting was always good chasing, but he never seemed good as the champ. People were always invested in the chase. And the thing is, though, like, at some point, you got to cash in on them becoming a champ, because if they always chase it and it never quite happens, after a while, you start losing credibility with that. So, some people, like I said, they work better as chasers. So I don't know if that's her, right? So, but we'll see. Also, I could not be remiss. Naomi returned at the Royal Rumble. We hadn't seen Naomi in a long time. So it was good to see Naomi. Do you know I'm blocked by her on Twitter?
Why? What did you do?
I don't know. That's the craziest shit. So I saw Bianca Belair had a tweet and it was like, yo, always good for the pick or whatever. And it was like a link. And I clicked the link. It was like, you are not allowed to view this tweet. I'm like, what? Then I click on it. It was like, you've been blocked by Naomi WWE. And they had to check like the verified account. And I said, what? I shared it on Twitter because I was confused. Like, I was like, yo. So, generally when people get blocked, like, I'm not one of the people like, oh, I got blocked, and as a badge of honor. Generally when you get blocked, especially by a celebrity, you probably broke bad with them at some point, right? I don't, because I don't at people a lot, especially celebrities, I don't at them a lot. I was like, yo, I don't think I've ever said anything to her on here. I searched my tweets about things I've said about her, and they've all been complimentary, right? Like, I was even seeing if I got hacked one time and somebody was like saying something vulgar or something, and I was like, nah. Now, I made some jokes about the fucking dactyls and that, like, Cameron was terrible. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or, you know, like, this is going to end bad or something, but I don't think that was block worthy. And even then, she wasn't at it, so, like, who? Oh, man. Yeah, man. Apparently I'm blocked by Naomi. Which, I'm not heartbroken by it, but I'm like, I didn't do anything. Anyway, Bray Wyatt successfully defends the Universal Championship against Daniel Bryan in a strap match. Very good match. Very entertaining. I thought Bryan had a lot of chances to win it all the way up to the end. And Keith, my number one thing about a wrestling match is I want to believe that somebody has a shot to win this. Like, I need to be unsure. Even if I know what the outcome is supposed to be, I need to be unsure that that's what's going to happen. And they made that work. What were your impressions? Because I think Bray is figured out how to make this thing work.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those angles that, like, even the people that are creative and the people who work there, I don't know if they don't know what to do with this, right? Like, they know it's creepy, but they don't. So you gotta kind of depend on Bray, and I don't even know if Bray knows everything that he's doing right now, right? But it made it. Becky Lynch defeats Asuka and retains the Raw Women's title.
Match.
Yeah,
that was a good match. I enjoyed that one.
Good story, good build up. Had the story of like, hey man, last year we was here and Asuka dethroned Becky Lynch, right?
Right.
And I like heel Asuka. I like Kari was there. I like that Becky stopped the mist, right? And it backfired on Asuka. Like, I thought that was cool. Maybe the match of the night, right?
Right.
Men's Royal Rumble was interesting. So, Brock Lesnar eliminates the first 13 dudes.
Right.
In the weirdest squash match type of shit that I've ever seen. And what I say was not entertained. Like, he was just tossing and
it was
destroying
so
people.
It was just like, really? Right.
And you couldn't keep anybody in the ring.
It was just too much.
So, when Shelton Benjamin came out, I was like, all right, this is going to be different. Let's see what happens. And, they hugged. They did the Minnesota Stretcher Crew thing. And then Brock turned on it.
Right.
And I was thinking, like, hey, man, you can't trust your white friends. Which I was like, I was thinking it. I didn't put it on Twitter. You know what I mean? I left it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt like that was a big microcosm for society. Like you start getting there, and it's like, all right, man, I got your back. Yeah, that shit gonna end bad. Which I'm gonna lose some fans for that one, but I don't care. But yeah, so that was that. I thought Keith Lee had a decent showing. I just wish him and Braun would have lasted longer, right? Because they stabilized the match, right? Like, Keith Lee comes out first, and it's like, shouts out to Brock for at least putting him over to, like, stay around, right?
Right.
Hey, because Keith Lee come out, and Brock like, whoa, big boy. And then he look at Paul, and he mouth like, who the fuck is this?
Right.
And, hey, when he stand there and look at Brock, it's like, ooh, this is a big dude. You know what I mean?
Right. It was terrible. Terrible.
Keith Lee is interesting because as massive as he is, he can do so much stuff, and the way he can move, like, that dude ain't supposed to be doing flips. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he showed up, and he did his thing, and then Braun showed up, and people was digging Braun. But then Braun keep going at it, and Brock dumps them both out. And it's like, oh, this shit is going to be terrible.
Right.
And I didn't know what they was going to do. I was like, are they going to have Brock eliminate 30 people?
Right.
But
if they did, it would have been terrible. It would have been terrible.
But after, he didn't stick around much longer because Ricochet came down. Somehow Ricochet stayed alive. Then Drew McIntyre came, and then Ricochet hit the low blow, and then Drew went for Claymore, and that was it for Brock. And I thought that was, like, we knew then what was going to happen. There was a little sketchy towards the end, but we kind of knew what was going to happen, because it's like, Drew took out Brock after he did all that bull, but then he stared down Brock, and I was like, oh, that's what's going to be wrestling. And Brock was looking up like, and they kept going back to each other, so Brock didn't leave immediately, and they kept going back towards Drew looking at him, and it's like, oh, that's what this is going to be. And at that moment, I was like, you know, you can do some bad stuff and clean it up, and that's what we got.
Right.
I didn't agree with those first 13, 14 eliminations, but that one I thought like, oh, okay. That's the purpose for all of this. Right? That's why we're here. Let's play out the rest of the match, but this is why we're here. So, crazy enough, Drew doesn't even have to win the Royal Rumble. If somebody else wins, they just got the chance to challenge for the Universal title. But I'm happy Drew did win the Royal Rumble. Right?
Right.
And they booked somebody that they wouldn't usually book. And I thought that was cool. Right? They went with a guy they usually wouldn't go with. So, that happened. MVP made his way back for...
Okay, see. So, I had to rewind that part like 3 times to make sure I was looking at the right person. Okay? And I was just like, what? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, so I have been watching him because he's been on this wrestling show that's been on Vice where, you know, they follow guys around and stuff like that. And he's been talking about, like, he's supposed to be wrapping this up. Like, he's supposed to be retiring, right?
Right.
But, you know, I think the WWE called and he was like, yeah, I'll make this work. I'll come out for a Royal Rumble. And, you know, it was just good to see MVP. But the thing that happened, that, you know, everybody's really talking about at Royal Rumble is, you know, I'll play the clip. Y'all hear it.
Who's it going to be? No way. Oh, my!
You gotta be kidding me.
The Rated R Superstar! Edge is here! Who retired in 2011 after triple fusion neck surgery. Edge with a spear!
How long is
that? Is some sounds from the Royal Rumble. Edge has returned. Man, let me tell you something. I was at his last match at WrestleMania 27 here in Atlanta. Right? It was a show. It was the match that opened up the show. And I always was happy that, like, oh, well, cool. I got to see Edge's last match. And, you know, I was happy that he got to come. Because here's the thing. That triple fusion neck surgery ain't exactly a thing people recover from all the time. He did it. And, you know, sometimes you're skeptical, like, hey, should guys come back? And I mean, this was 9 years. This ain't like somebody coming back after like 2 or 3 or whatever. Like, if reputable doctors say you're cool, you just got to avoid certain things or whatever.
Right.
Cool. And one of the things I thought was inspiring was Paige posted a picture of Edge and Daniel Bryan and was like, yo, this gives me hope. And I thought that was so dope, right? Because think about this. If Paige could come back in like 5 years, right?
Right.
She'll be with like 30? You know what I'm saying?
Because I think she's only going to be like 25, 26 this year. Something like that. So, yeah. You know, she's in her prime. Like, she's nowhere close to where they were at, you know. But I was so excited to see him come out and see him get in the ring and wrestle again. Like, I mean, watching him retire was like one of the, like, I think one of the saddest moments in wrestling that I had witnessed. And like, to see, you know, and I thought the same thing about Daniel too, because when Daniel retired, it was just so heartbreaking, you know, because they had titles and they had to relinquish them, and they were told they couldn't come back, you know, and they couldn't wrestle anymore, and this, that, third, and it's just like, damn, like, you know, you live in your dream, you know what I'm saying? So, to watch them both return in the fashion that they have is amazing. I'm so glad to see Edge in the ring again. And you know what's so crazy is Edge is a Hall of Famer out here. But yet, you know what I'm saying, Edge didn't look like he's missed a beat. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how some the wrestlers, they return and they look sluggish. You know, like they just, it's kind of like they're trying to wipe off ring rust or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, Edge doesn't look like that. Like, he didn't look like that at all. Like, he looks as if he's been wrestling this entire time. Like, of course he's still fit, you know, and everything. Like, he didn't look like he was, like, hard for breath or nothing. Like, it was amazing to watch him wrestle again. It was amazing to see him back in the ring. Like, I loved it. I was screaming when I heard his music hit. Like, now that was something that I've watched, I think maybe 10 times each day since it happened. And I still can't get enough of it because it's just so unbelievable. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really unbelievable. And of course, we all heard the rumors and whatnot that he was in negotiations and, you know, he was going to make his return back to the ring. They just didn't know when and all that kind of stuff. But to watch him come back at Royal Rumble and to now know that he's full-time wrestling again and, you know, all that kind of stuff, it's amazing. I'm happy. I'm so happy for him, like, for real talk.
Yeah, I mean, it was the worst kept secret or whatever.
You're right.
And it was, you know, but it was still good to see, right?
Right.
So, yeah, man, happy to see that guy return. To just have another run. I don't know how long it's gonna be. I don't care. I don't care if he just showed up for a couple of months to do a thing up to Mania and then roll out, you know, go back to his acting gigs or just kicking it at home because I know he's been enjoying his life, him and Beth.
Well, from what I've read, he has a 3-year contract. So he's going to be around for a while. Well, you know, Beth is working with WWE too, so you know, now they're both back and they're both back with wrestling in some entity. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's back to full-time wrestling. She's, you know, commentating and, you know, whatnot. She's doing her thing. Like, I love it. Personally, I'm glad to see them both back with WWE in some form or fashion. I know they've been enjoying their lives, you know, outside of wrestling and everything. But it's nice to see them back involved with the company and everything, especially seeing Edge back in the ring. Like, I cannot wait for that. Like,
I like her Twitter post where it was like, "Hey, Adam, I got a sitter for a Sunday night. What you want to do for a date night?"
It was terrible.
And then there's a picture of both of them, you know, in the row. Like, yeah, man.
Right.
That's a hell of a Sunday, which I'm sure the kids probably was there. You know, it's like stuff Bob,
right.
You know, dad. So the family members came and was with the kids. Because how cool is that, man? You watch your mom crush it in the Rumble and then watch your dad. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, as a child, I'm pretty sure, like, you know, they're like losing it because they get to see both of them, you know what I'm saying, out there in the ring and wrestling and all, because these are your heroes, you know, like, these were their heroes. These are their heroes. Like, this is mom and dad, you know, both Hall of Famers. They're just out here, doing their thing. And what's funny is that neither one of them looks like they had time off or anything, right? So you can tell they both stay fit and they both, they work, outside. They've been doing work outside of the ring and whatever. It's awesome. I'm glad that Edge was able to get cleared to come back.
Right.
I'm glad that he's healed tremendously enough to where he's able to wrestle again. Because, I can't imagine what it felt like to know that you had to give it up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man, yeah.
For him, for Paige, for Daniel Bryan, even for Roman when he was out, for a short period of time. Like, to know, you have to walk away, it's like, damn, why, why did this have to happen? You know what I'm saying? And it's heartbreaking. But for 3 out of the 4 of them to have been cleared to come back and to be back in the ring and, and all that kind of stuff, I'm so glad that Paige now has hope. You know what I'm saying? Like, now she, you know what, if she were to make a return in the next 5 years, or even 5 years, or even 10, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm all up in for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be super excited, just like I've been super excited for them. Because Paige is so young. You know what I'm saying? Like, for her to be in her 20s, like, she's only in her mid-20s. So, like, she has, like, all the time in the world right now. So I'm glad that she has that hope that one day, you know what I'm saying, that could be her too. And I'm so, like I said, and I know I said this before time, but, like, I don't know if people really know, but, like, I'm an Attitude Era kid. So, like, for me, Edge was always been one of my favorite wrestlers, period, because I grew up on Edge. You know what I'm saying? Like, from his debut to his retirement, to his Hall of Fame introduction, to him returning Sunday. Like, I've always, followed Edge in his career. So, like, I'm so glad to know, like, that now he's back. It's the greatest feeling. This has been an emotional week, and it's only Tuesday. I just really had to throw that out there. This has been a really emotional week. This has been a very long week, and it's only Tuesday. Like, I'm gonna get it together, but yeah, like, it's just been a lot. It's been a lot, and you know what? I don't know if but to watch it, to know that him and Daniel Bryan wrestled in the same night, like, that's dope. Now, to me, that's dope. And I can only imagine the conversation backstage. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially for Edge to show up knowing that he's going to debut out again. Like, I can only imagine how everything went backstage. Because I know for me, if I was back there and let's say I was one of the younger guys that grew up watching Edge and whatever, and to know that he's going to wrestle again, like, I probably was losing my mind. You know what I'm saying? So, but, that's neither here nor there. Okay, I'm rambling. Let me chill out. but I had to throw that all out there because it was so excited. It was just so exciting. And I'm like genuinely happy that he's back and that this is the way that he returned. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad that they didn't just do him like they did John Morrison and just had him show up in like a backstage thing. But they weren't gonna do Edge like that. So, I'm glad this is the way that he returned. I am excited about that. This to me was a great way to do it. So, I think that's everything.
I appreciate your candor. I appreciate your openness. Like, I think you really shed light on that, and that is awesome. So Drew McIntyre wins the Rumble. Edge returns, and we're headed to WrestleMania. So with that, we're gonna hit a break, the last break of the show, and then we'll go from there.
All right.
We got wrestling news. So we'll get there, and then we'll go. Just trying to see what I would like to mess with.
Are you going to do the birthdays too? You should do the birthdays.
Yeah, I'm not doing no birthdays.
March 5th, we've got an 8 p.m. start at an extraordinary World Wrestling Federation card. Newcomer Bad News Brown has signed an open contract. There's going to be a midget tag team bout on this sensational card. Ladies champ Sherry to defend against Rockin' Robin. The Bolsheviks from Russia to meet the Young Stallions. Coco Beware and Hercules one-on-one. Ravishing Rick Rude, a guy that really flaunts it, will be meeting Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. With all the buzz that's going on right now in the World Wrestling Federation, even more significance to this tag team bout. Hulk Hogan teaming up with Hacksaw Jim Duggan to meet, come on in, Bodyguard Virgil, $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, in your corner, the 8th wonder of the world, Andre the Giant. Mr. DiBiase.
Oh, yes, this match could have a great deal of bearing on whatever happens in Atlantic City. It could have a great bearing on the rankings and who's going to face who. Because I've got a prediction, Hogan. You're never going to make it to Atlantic City. You and that Ford-wielding Duggan. You think I've been a little bit embarrassed and humiliated? I'm sure you do, Okerlund. Where's the belt, right? Well, the belt was where it belongs, around my waist for 1 week until you, Jack Tunney, decided to add a page to the rule book.
He did what he
You stay out of it, Okerlund. Add a page to the rule book to suit himself and to suit all the bureaucrats of the World Wrestling Federation. Well, you know what it told me? It was a compliment to me because it told me that I got to everybody. That's right. I intimidated everybody, including you, Tunney, because I proved that I could do it. I paid this man, and he delivered. That's right. The title should be right here, and all you people know that, and you know it too, Hogan. But I don't have to buy the title. I did it to prove it could be done. And in San Francisco, Hogan, you and Duggan are going to get a lesson. Right, Andre?
Andre, you're going to be in the corner. I don't know why they've got you in the corner.
Hey, Andre could have retired by now. He didn't, though. Why, Andre?
Greed? Is it greed, Andre?
I got another suitcase, and I got some more presents, and...
Look at the jewelry.
This I figured to see San Francisco again, and first to see you again, Hogan, to go down and down again.
What do you think he's going to be thinking about with him in my corner?
I don't know. We're going to find out, though, on Saturday night, March 5th at the Cow Palace, 8 o'clock start.
All right, we are back. So let's hit the news. Keish, Andrade has been suspended for 30 days for violation of the wellness policy. I don't think he's going to drop the belt because I think that was the play for last night's finish where Humberto DDT'd him. So now he's going to be out because he's injured, and then he'll be back. I don't know what the violation was exactly. They say it was his first one. So I don't know if he was taking something or if he was just, doing recreational.
Right.
But, yeah. But I'm sure his fiance will go to bat for him just in case. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like, do you understand that, like, because of their relationship is why Zelina Vega is on Raw?
Yeah.
Because think about it.
I am fully aware.
She is with my man. Zelina's with Andrade, but she's married to Aleister Black.
But isn't Aleister Black on Raw too?
Yes, Aleister Black is on Raw because of. Okay, so basically it's like this: Charlotte or Andrade on Raw, like that had to happen because during the first extension they was going to actually send them to separate brands, but since they are together, she fought for it because they don't like to break up couples. That's kind of a thing that they don't do. Because, and to be fair, that's because this is what happens when you get wrestlers in charge. they felt like if you keep them on the same show, they could travel together, yada, yada, yada. And you don't have like an Edge Matt Hardy thing that takes place.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That totally matters. But yeah, so Alistair and Zelina, they gonna keep them together because they married. So if Charlotte wants Andrade on Raw, then Zelina's on Raw, so therefore Alistair had to come to Raw. That's the chain effect that they have on the show.
Right.
So, like I said, we'll see what happens with Andrade in 30 days. MVP will stay on with the WWE for a short run. So, that thing we saw at Royal Rumble is not a one-off. He will be around for a little while, which, like I said, I have been watching a bunch of stuff about him retiring, and it's like, this might be one last cash out. Because I'm sure they paid him good, right?
Yeah, true. Mm-hmm. I'm
also,
pretty sure they are.
Quiet as kept. I think that they should do this more often. So, they had a really good run when the New Age Outlaws came back for a little while. The Dudleys came back for a little while and had a short run. And I think it's something that can just work, right?
Right.
You can have them in a storyline or two. But for the most part, they come up, they do their thing, and they out.
Right.
So
they take a nice bow out. You know what I'm saying? If we're going to induct them into the Hall of Fame, we do that, and then that's it.
Yeah. Former WWE announcer Sean Mooney signs with the NWA. If you are a fan of the 80s wrestling, Sean Mooney did a lot of the studio shows where he's like, hey, this is Sean Mooney with WWF News, and da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? He is now working at NWA, so that's going to be interesting. Something we didn't cover last week, that I just wanted to put in the show. Lighten up the mood, right? You know Lars Sullivan did gay porn?
Wait, whoa. Wait a minute. Time out.
So,
wait a minute, because I got to make sure I heard you right.
Yeah, I mean, it's an old story. It's been floating around the internets for a while. Lars Sullivan, gay porn. Who, I think he's going to come back eventually. He's been out on injury for a while. But, yeah, so Lars Sullivan, who likes to, I think he's one of them, Trumpers or whatever, but he likes to make wacky statements on the social media. You know what I mean? They found him on message boards from back in the day saying racist stuff, yada, yada, yada. Right?
Uh-huh.
WWE still deal with him. But then they found, he said a lot of homophobic stuff, right? On the social media. Very hard, weird stances on homophobia. Somebody found a picture of him, which has a video that I did not watch, so I can't, go too much.
Yeah.
But, they got the still clip of his upper body, him laying on the bed. Yeah, apparently he did gay porn. Which, for somebody who has a lot of homophobic views, it ain't because he's fighting against himself, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's something I think. Yeah, I don't want to go too far because it's something very particular to the LGBT community. And I want to clarify, him doing it is not the insult that he did gay porn. The insult is that he was out here talking all that homophobia, and I guess he's scared of himself. So
yeah, because what? I'm just shocked because I'm learning this information. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it was all over the place. We're kind of late, but it was all over the place. So yeah, that's the thing. Sasha Banks did not participate in the Royal Rumble because she is injured.
Yeah, I heard that part. I did hear that. That's why she hasn't really been doing too much.
Yeah, I don't have any info on the injury or whatever. So I don't know how long she's expected to be out or what the injury is. But yeah, that was the thing. Also, Samoa Joe is believed to be injured from last night's Raw. We don't know how long they expect to see him out. TNA or Impact Wrestling is doing a show called No Place Like Home WrestleMania weekend. So far confirmed for the show, Scott Steiner, Chris Sabin, and I will say D'Lo and Ken Anderson will reprise their roles of aces and eights. So be able to look out for more names. Should be interesting.
Have D'Lo got that walk together?
You know he still like to do that.
That walk's so exaggerated and extra. Right? So what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to throw that out there.
D'Lo was one of those guys I had a hard time with early on because I would like watch him, but I'd be like, "We really doing this in front of all these white folks?" Like that whole head neck roll shake thing. I'm like, "We really doing this for all these white people?" That's what we doing.
He's like, I know you gotta entertain, but bruh,
like, oh shit,
people can see you.
Right.
Like, folks can see you out here. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, are you serious? Like, no. I'm gonna need you to chill. Okay? Like, no. When the first time I ever seen him, you know what's funny? When he was with Nation of Domination, he didn't do all that. And then that's when he started out at Network and stuff. So, where did this come from? Like, you didn't walk like that when you was with them.
I watched some clips of the early Nation, and when he wasn't even wrestling, he was kind of like doing the whole Fruit of Islam thing where he had all the tux and would file around, and they had Clarence Mason, the attorney. Like, I thought they had something. They just didn't want to dig all the way in.
Right.
That's it for the news and notes. I really don't have anything else. And we kept y'all around too. I said before this show started, I was like, this won't be a 2-hour show. Apparently I lied.
That's what we do here. Because that's what we do. Right? This is what we do. We do 2 hours. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know what you were thinking about. Tripping.
But, once again,
tripping.
Back-to-back shows. I'm proud of us. We'll be back probably Tuesday again.
We sure will.
And, with that, appreciate it. I appreciate all y'all for listening. And we are out. So, with that, peace.
Bye.